Costume malfunctions happen. Unexpectedly, what do you do when the unexpected happens? Hi. Costume malfunctions. One of the things that's going to happen if you work with the entertainers, with the characters, is you're going to have costume malfunctions. Everybody in the park has them in one way or another, but especially with the characters. And they can be a bit awkward sometimes. I mean, personally, I had one. I was working on Main Street. And on Main Street, we wore these big white knickers, and it was hard to find some that fit properly. And mine were just a smidge big, and then the belts that they had were not great belts. And so they would kind of wear out. I would go through a belt about every 4 or 5 months. Just kind of sad. Well, I had this one time I was on Main Street, I was shooting, and my belt decided that it was done. Boing! I mean, it popped pretty good. And I'm shooting pictures at the time, and it was just this moment of, oh no, grab the waist. I don't think my pants would have fallen off, but it was definitely an awkward moment to be finishing up their pictures with one hand and then trying to scan everything and make sure I didn't have another issue. The good news is the parks all had wardrobes there, so if you did have something like that, you could leave, let your managers know why you were leaving, and go down and get another belt or shirt or something like that. And we would have things, you would see people spill their food on them at lunch. And yeah, so the nice thing was having wardrobe there. So if your costume did have an issue, you could go get it replaced or cleaned or fixed or whatever. I had another time that I was shooting, and one of the things that I did because of my style shooting is I moved a lot. And I would have a lot of times I would be kind of crouching or kneeling, and I would pivot depending upon what people were doing. I finally got a good brand of shoes, but this one time my shoes were worn and I pivoted and the top of the shoe went and the bottom of the shoe didn't. And my whole sole just came right off. Whoop! Oh, look, I have no shoe. And again, you're in the middle of shooting people and you can't stop shooting pictures because you've got a problem. It doesn't affect them. It's not flashing anybody. All right, so you just keep shooting. And so I finished up, I actually shot a few people with basically a non-functional shoe while I sent a message back with somebody else. Hey, go let my managers know I need another photographer here, like, now, because my wardrobe has malfunctioned. Then it was going down. You could buy shoes there. Thankfully, it was near the end of my shift. And so I just got permission to go home and go buy some shoes on my way home. That was real fun, to be walking all the way down the utilidor with half of a shoe flopping. All the way down. Yeah, that was embarrassing too. But costume malfunctions would also happen with the characters. A very common one, because of the big shoes that they wore, Mickey and Minnie would have people step on their feet all the time. Watch where you step. And when their shoes get stepped on, they just buckle inside. And so instead of having this nice round top, you have this totally indented thing. Now, sometimes the mice could manage to flex their feet and pop it back out. Sometimes it didn't work. Now, as a photographer, my job was to constantly watch for stuff like this. I'm watching the characters and the guests anyways, so I'm always watching for the costumes to not work quite right. Shoes were an easy one. Hey, Mickey, something catch your shoe here? Let's fix your shoe. You would have other pieces of the costume sometimes get a little knocked awkward. Mickey's ties sometimes would get knocked sideways, and you'd see it kind of standing up instead of across. So when you saw something like this, the trick was to have something to say to the character that you could walk up nice and close, tell them while you fix it real quick. And they would get the idea, hey, Mickey, have you fed Pluto? How is Pluto doing? It's good to see him. And you quickly adjust their time. Sometimes it wasn't quite that easy. Minnie in particular had one real issue that showed up a lot, in that her bloomers didn't always fit right. And you thought I had issues with my belt. There were a number of times that Minnie would be standing up saying hi to the people and her bloomers would slip. And there were a number of times when you're watching and right as you're about to shoot the picture, all of a sudden, whoop! Minnie, you might want to fix that. That was something I did not help Minnie fix. That would be something that I would stand up and kind of block the view and let her adjust. And if need be, hey, Minnie, your cheesecake is burning. I mean, it's burning now. Let's get you backstage. And you're hoping people don't notice, but when her bloomers are at her knees, it's kind of hard not to notice. And then she would have to go back behind and adjust and try to get them to fit. You could tell when Minnie had been dieting, because that was when she really had an issue with them slipping. That was probably the biggest wardrobe, the most common wardrobe malfunction I saw outside of shoes, was Minnie's bloomers. Oh, Minnie, maybe we should get you something to fit a little bit better. It created some very awkward moments sometimes, though. You would have newlywed couples that would be up there getting their pictures, and whoops. There were a number of times that you cover it up and you're trying so hard not to laugh. But yes, awkward moment. Other things that would happen, a lot of the costumes had Velcro on them. So if something popped or slipped, it was usually because the Velcro came out. And so you would come up and very quickly pull it and line it up and try and lay it down. Most quick wardrobe malfunctions you fix on stage. You'd step up, you talk to the character, you kind of hide it, and you fix it real quick. And as a photographer, there were a lot of times that we saw it before the actual character attendant saw it. So we got pretty good at fixing a lot of them. But there were some that you could not fix on stage. One of the princesses one time, pretty sure it was Snow White, the zipper on the back busted. Guess what, Snow? And you could see, just as she moved, it was like, in this brief moment of panic in her eyes. Okay, Snow, let's get you off stage here real quick. Dwarves are calling, and she's just backing up, kind of going, hi, hope you're all doing good. I'll be back in a minute. And, back her out real quick. Ariel would have issues as well, similar ones. Because Ariel filmed in her grotto, it was kind of a cave, and we only allowed in the family that was shooting pictures. So it was a little easier to protect that if it happened, and it happened a couple times, where Ariel would be talking and she was good at catching it.
Whew, ha! Guess what? I feel like a time to go look for some more dingle hoppers.
Oh, okay, Ariel. Is there an issue? And yes, this is when the ever popular, if they were fur characters, this would be when you would see the signal that there is a problem. Usually it was the hand over the eye. I wouldn't say that normally, but it's kind of pretty well known now, so I'm not too worried about breaking NDAs. But yeah, the hand over the eye is kind of your signal that there is a problem, that I need your help, and I need it now. And you would move the guests off and, okay, let me help take care of you and fix whatever needs to be fixed. There was a couple times like that. The one other bad one I really remember, and I've mentioned this before, it's not necessarily a costume malfunction, but it definitely resulted in one, was Donald one time had not been drinking his water and had heat stroke. When you have a problem like that in those costumes, there's no place for things to go. And so when you get sick, it covers the costume. We managed to get Donald off stage, thankfully, before Donald lost their stomach. But it definitely resulted in a costume that could not be used for quite a while. So again, it's good that the laundry's there because they wash it. That did happen occasionally. If somebody got sick and they're a fur character, there's not really any place for it to go if it's all of a sudden no warning, except inside the costume. And then they're madly doing this, trying to, hey, I need to get off now. And then, of course, you're trying to get them as off stage as quickly as possible. The one Donald, we had to help off stage because they were that sick. Yeah, those were fun moments. Most of the time, it was simple stuff. It was usually like Velcro attachments, Velcro belts, things like that. It was just a matter of coming up and slapping it down. But when something bigger than that went wrong, oh boy. And it was get them off stage, and if it was something that could be fixed, great, let's fix it right away. In the case of like Snow White's, guess what, Snow? Time to go change outfits and take a drive over to wardrobe and get a new dress, because that one's not going to work anymore. Yeah, we did get some interesting ones like that. They were rare, thankfully, very rare. Like I said, Mickey and Minnie's shoes were far and away the most common. That one, you would see once a day or every other day because people stepped on their feet all the time. Watch where you walk. The ducks, Donald and Daisy, would have that issue. Pluto would have that. Goofy had that a lot as well because Goofy's feet are huge. Okay, they're not quite that big, but it feels like it sometimes. So yeah, the shoes were far and away the biggest wardrobe malfunction. But when others happened, yeah, it got interesting. Have you seen other wardrobe malfunctions in the park? I'd love to hear your story. Share it in the comments below. Did I miss something? Let me know. Thank you so much to my patrons, my YouTube members, my financial supporters. I couldn't do this without them. Thank you so much for your help. We've got big Zoom calls coming up that we're doing and behind the scenes stuff. If you want to know more about that, check the description below. Thank you so incredibly much for watching. God bless. This is Costume Malfunctions. Malfunction junction, what's your function? Okay, that's not how it goes. Hi. All right. Come on. Down here. All right. You want to stay here for the start? Thank you so incredibly much for watching. God bless. And my dog's rolling around like a goober. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions, your ideas. Be sure to share them in the comments below, or you can contact me. There's information in the description that has my email address, fan pages, information about merchandise, and so much more. So be sure to check that out. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, and if you haven't already, hit the button right up there to subscribe. And in fact, if you did enjoy this, I've even got another video for you right here. And also about these wonderful people here, those are my YouTube members and my patrons, the ones whose financial support makes this possible. I couldn't do it without them. If you want to know more about that and the perks that come with it, well, be sure to check the description. There's a link right down there. Thank you so incredibly much. God bless.